us from the regulatory side and most of our government agencies that have more work to do. If you take the case of compulsory motor vehicle insurance, third-party liability, only 1 in 8 Nigerian cars, 13%, have genuine insurance. Again, compare this to Ghana, where the compliance rate is reportedly about 60%. Or take the case of mandatory group life insurance for large businesses and organizations. Again, only a few large corporates in the oil and gas sector, the Federal Civil Service and the Police Service are compliant. Many of our CAC registered businesses do not comply with the law. So here we need to strengthen our enforcement and our regulation. So far from over-regulation, I think we need to give more teeth to those who are overlooking this. And I hope that people won't say, I was speaking to Fola here, he said if you give us teeth, they will say we are biting. But sometimes those who have teeth have to bite now and again, isn't it? We also have a shortage of skilled professionals. So we have a problem of a general lack of skilled professionals in the industry, from underwriters to brokers to regulators. I'm informed by NICOM that we currently have less than 10 professional actuaries in the country. This is grossly inadequate for the type of insurance industry we want to build in Nigeria, in Africa's largest economy, Nigeria. But again, I see this as a big opportunity. That means that we have the opportunity to develop training, whether it be through schools, through programs that the industry can support and government can work hand in hand with you. We can bring our young people. This is an opportunity for those of them who don't have jobs to be brought in, to be trained to work in this industry. So I'm just saying to all of us, yes, I've called it a challenge, but really for me, this says that we have room to do something really good for our young people in this country by bringing them into this profession. Now, what have been some lessons that are useful to us from the banking and pension reforms? In the past 10 years, we have had our banking reforms which have led to the growth of Nigeria's banks. We went through an initial phase of banking consolidation and then introduced additional prudential measures following the recent financial crisis. Today, our banking sector has grown and total banking assets are now over 24 trillion naira, about US $150 billion. Can you imagine that? Prior to 2005, I don't think we could have gotten our mind around this kind of figure. Before our banking reforms, our largest banks were only a fraction of the size of the top 5 banks in South Africa, with no Nigerian bank in the top 20 banks in Africa. Today, we know we have 6 Nigerian banks among the top 20 in Africa. And our banks have now spread across the continent, opening branches from Senegal to Kenya, from London to South Africa. These reforms have also had major impacts on our economy by driving strong growth in the amount of bank credit provided to the private sector and by creating many jobs for our young people. And then in 2004, we also had reforms in our pensions industry. We passed the Pensions Reform Act of 2004, and we switched to the defined benefit scheme as we phase out of the old we switched to the defined contribution scheme as we phase out of our existing defined benefit scheme. And the defined contribution scheme has done well for us. We have provided a strong regulatory framework to allow for pension fund administrators to operate. Today, our pension industry has grown in leaps and bounds, from total assets of 47 billion naira in 2004 to about 4.4 trillion naira, or US $28 billion today. And those who are regulating it, past and present, are here in the room to attest to that. My prediction is that Nigeria's insurance industry is next. That's why I gave these examples. Nigeria's insurance industry is next. This industry is ready to take off. Just like the banking industry reforms, we should imagine a time when our insurance industry players are strong, robust, and even begin international expansion. A time when our domestic insurers will begin to fully underwrite policies for our oil and gas and heavy infrastructure sectors, when this industry will develop skilled actuaries and underwriters who can meet the highest international standards. So what is our vision for the sector? And where do I see this sector by 2020? Let me just say a few words on the vision that I see. And I want to challenge the breakout groups of this afternoon to take this vision and start thinking about the operational details. The first part of our vision will be to grow our gross written premiums of 300 billion naira today to 1 trillion naira in the next 3 years, and to 5 trillion naira within the next decade, so that we should be attaining gross premiums of about $30 billion in a decade from today. Let us focus on that prize ahead and work towards that goal. I know that we can meet it. The second part of the vision will be to deliver jobs in this industry. The insurance industry is a powerful sector, powerful engine for job creation in our economy. I know this is about the 4th time I've said it because it is true. But today, there are only about 30,000 people working in the Nigerian insurance industry. This sector should clearly be creating many more jobs for us. So the second part of our vision says that we should grow the number of direct jobs created in this industry from the current 30,000 people to 100,000 people in the next 3 years, and to more than 300,000 people in the next decade. Clearly, to create more jobs in the sector, we will need to invest in the training and skills development that we just talked about to prepare our young men and women for careers in the insurance sector. And I want the breakout groups to think about this particular objective, this particular part of the vision, very clearly, because I think it is something that we can launch almost immediately. In fact, we need to do it. We need to figure out how to bring our young people in, how to share the information about the importance of this sector, and how to train them to become active participants. This will fill a very great need in the challenges we face in the economy today. The third part of our vision will be to widen access by growing the number of insurance policy holders in the country. We're a country of 170 million people, but we have only 3 million policy holders. Knowledge, awareness, and patronage of insurance products are low across the country. So let us work together to achieve a minimum of 10 million policy holders in the next 3 decades, and 10 million policy holders in the next 3 years, and 30 million policy holders in the next decade. To achieve this goal, this industry will need to think about new distribution channels for selling insurance policies. For example, using mobile platforms, and also working with the CBN to identify appropriate bank assurance regulations that can help us push this. We'll also need to think about how to extend micro-insurance and tackle full insurance that was referred to by the Insurance Commissioner to rural parts of the country, especially to Nigerian farmers who are exposed to various climate risks. So coming to a close, how do we work together? To develop the potential of the industry, we will need to work together, all of us, to address the several challenges and take advantage of the opportunities that come. Clearly, the federal government has an important role to play in the sector. We need to get better at enforcing compliance for some of the compulsory classes of insurance. We also need to clarify various regulations, for example, on bank assurance and the use of corporate agents. And we need to work on strengthening the supervisory powers of NICOM, and I referred to this earlier. But the federal government cannot develop this sector alone. All of you stakeholders in this room will need to work together to realize the potential of this industry. Too often at these gatherings, we talk, we don't come up with concrete plans. But I think here today is different. Just as we have been able in this administration to effectively launch the housing sector, to give a dream to young Nigerians that they can own houses, to process in a short time 66,000 mortgages when we are used to doing 25 1,000 to 50,000 a year.